What up, peeps? It's your boy Heckin Steve. Welcome back to the channel. And today I am hanging with Kreesky.
What's up?
What's up, man? Thanks for stopping into the channel today. You know, a lot of people don't know, but you were like the first reseller that I did a video on.
Yeah, it actually is true. Have you gotten that saying copyrighted yet? What up,
Nope.
Pete?
No, I have not. Actually, I can't remember the name of the guy, but he like owns a game store, and apparently I stole it from him. But
Oh,
that's not actually true. I mean, that guy does say it, but I actually took it from a comedian named Tony Baker. He does like animal voiceovers and stuff.
okay.
And he used to come on his videos and be like, "What's up, peeps?" So I just kind of like took it from there.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, back then when I was starting to make the reseller videos, I was like drunk for the majority of them, and they're not very good. Like when you look back, it's kind of surprising that they even like took off, and now that's kind of like what I'm known for is
yeah,
making fun of resellers. But
yeah. I know
as
that's your main stick. Like at the moment, I know a lot of your fans. That's what they come to
yeah,
the channel for. That's what they crave. That's where you got your start. Yeah, I think that I probably was, if not the second. DK Oldies might have been your first one of your first videos. I
mhm,
do remember the second or third. I know you made two on me like right away. And if you don't remember, I did message in the comments, I think on the second video or the third video. And I think I gave you a little jab back because you were just
yeah,
coming with the jabs. But right after you responded, I was super sincere because I knew exactly what you were doing. And being a YouTuber myself, I know the grind of it. So I know exactly what you were doing. And I respected the grind. And I told you, I think I told you like in verbatim, like keep up the good work. Like you're
mhm,
doing great, brother. Just because I don't even think you were at 1,000 subs yet, but you were getting there. So yeah,
yeah. I still can't believe that I have as many as I do, but I'm grateful for it.
what are you at now?
7,400.
Yeah, that's a good amount. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember. I remember when you were at like under 500, and then I
yeah,
remember after a while you hit like 2,500, then 3,000. I was like, okay, yeah, he's picking up some traction. So it's pretty cool to see you grow the way you're growing.
yeah. It's pretty awesome, man. I have a lot of fun doing it and stuff. Um, Sometimes, just being a YouTuber in general, as you know, it can become exhausting at times. But the reason I brought up like the early on videos where like you were like the first reseller that I kind of like, because I did a lot of DKOD stuff and then I kind of pivoted to resellers. You just happened to be the first one that I saw. It wasn't like I like intentionally picked you out, but after seeing everything else that I've seen in this time, like you're not even nearly like bad as like a lot of the ones that I've covered.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
When I first started out, I think the people that made me want to start making YouTube videos, specifically on reselling, I know we can get to that question on how I started becoming a reseller because I'm sure everybody wants to know that. But I think the few people that I specifically watched that I gravitated towards that I actually I guess respected and looked up to was one Cincinnati picker. I
Hmm.
don't know if you know who that is, but it's an
I
older
do.
gentleman who has been picking for a very, very long time out of the Ohio area.
Hmm.
And he was just making some, I guess, like family friendly content, I guess. He was like an older gentleman. And it was just straight to the point. There was no like crazy explosions like Cody with a K. There was no like insane editing that's gonna blow your brain off. It was like pretty raw video, kind of how I do, with like a little intro here and there. But that's where I kind of gravitated towards that guy. I was like, wow, you can actually film yourself going to these things, and people want to see it because there he has like at the moment like almost 400,000 subscribers. He has a ton of subscribers, and I just saw the success that he was having, and I was like, why don't I just give this a go to be a YouTuber? Because I
Hmm.
do it anyway. So what's the harm in bringing a GoPro with me and just filming my transactions? But yeah, Cincinnati Picker, and then the second dude was Froggy Flips. I was a big fan of
Hmm.
Froggy Flips. I know a lot of people like Froggy Flips. He's got like a cult following now. He's got a lot of subscribers, and he gets like 200K plus on each video he posts. So yeah, he's super popular. He's probably one of the biggest, if not maybe Caleb. I know he's huge, but yeah, Froggy
Mhm.
Flips is like one of the OGs that I gravitated towards.
Yeah, see, and the thing is like those two dudes, I've seen a bunch of their videos and I've never really seen them be too scummy or like lowball people. There was a loose pop collection that Froggy bought in a video, and I thought about covering that, but then I thought about it and I was like, I mean, that's just like one out of 1,000 videos that he has. So like, why am I gonna try to criticize somebody that's not like consistently doing bad shit? Everybody, has one day where they're just horrible at something. But it really wasn't even that bad. But yeah, I mean, those are good examples of successful reseller channels where they don't have to like do lowballing and be rude to people. Now, with your content, you haven't really been rude with people ever. Um, we're gonna talk about the estate sale a little bit because someone,
Oh,
one of my fans submitted a question to talk about that. But I will say, like, your most recent videos and stuff are more focused on how cool the shit is instead of how much money it's worth. And I personally enjoy that kind of content more, and I think like your fans probably do too.
yeah.
But you're absolutely right, man. When you started and you were just like, basically doing the same thing you normally do, except now you turn the camera on. Why not make it into content if that's the kind of thing that people want to see?
Yeah, I think my specific content, I know it's just like everybody else's content. You can't really do anything different unless you're like coding with a K when he spent like 50 hours editing, or I don't know if he does it himself or he has an editor, but
He
I think
does it himself.
that stuff that's insane because I've sat in front of a computer for 10 hours and I have a really nice PC. I can push it to the limits, but just knowing how to edit like he does is it's insane. It's really insane. But the content that I push out, like you were explaining, that you really like, um, yeah, I do focus on uncovering nostalgia a lot. So if I'm digging around in somebody's attic, or I'm digging around in somebody's storage unit, or they just have a big bin of stuff in their garage or something like that, I think you can vouch for me and notice that I literally go through the entire box from rubber bands to pamphlets to batteries
Yeah.
at the bottom of the box. I kind of showcase every single thing in the box just because there's a lot of viewers out there that don't only want to see the games. There's like vintage 90s coupons and vintage 90s like blockbuster stuff and stuff like that. So it's really cool to go through the entire box in its entirety and then just showcase exactly what comes out, because I know a lot of people that sell me boxes of what they think is video games. It's like a mix of stuff sometimes. Like you'll find like weird stuff that we grew up with as a child, or 80s stuff and stuff like that. That it just was mixed into the box. So it could
Yeah.
be like a little like Happy Meal toy or like a vintage toy or something like that. And that also brings nostalgia to fans. So I really like showcasing every single thing that's in the box that I did.
For sure, man. I mean, that definitely helps you stand out because, like, even when people find retro games and they say this is complete, that's really all they do. They don't really like look through it and stuff. And when I was a kid, man, like I vividly remember when I first got Pokemon Red from the store, like brand new. I was just reading the entire manual and looking through it, and there's like a lot of fun stuff that developers or whatever would put into the manuals, which is kind of a shame that you don't get that much anymore with new games. But like the Grand Theft Auto manuals were always fun to look at, or the Guitar Hero manuals. So yeah, I mean that helps you stand out a lot. But I guess we'll go ahead and jump into these questions because there's a good batch of them. But I only wrote down 3 questions because I figured we were just gonna kind of yap and it was gonna come out of us naturally. But I do have a lot of fan questions that we're gonna get to after these three. But mine are pretty simple. So like, when did you become a reseller, or like when did you decide that you wanted to flip stuff to kind of help build your game collection?
Got you. Yeah. So I might have explained this in a video, if not, maybe one of my Earthbound videos when I was doing the $20 to Earthbound series.
Hmm.
Uh, Long ago, well, let's start with my mom actually used to do eBay when I was a young little boy. So I was around her packaging up stuff, tape,
Mhm.
boxes, going to the post office, going to yard sales. Um, Mind you, when I was a kid, I was just looking for Legos and wrestlers and stuff that was interesting to me at the time. GI Joe figures, anything you can think of.
The
Being
good stuff.
I was born in 1998, so early 2000s stuff that I gravitated towards. But she would go and specifically look for vintage collectibles like porcelain stuff, and her main niche was cookie jars. So I've explained to a lot of my viewers to go for cookie jars, and that comes from her. Um, I remember one time she found a cookie jar, and this was back in like 2005, that was like $20, and the internet wasn't bumping as much as it is now back then, so a lot of research wasn't online where you can find this stuff. So she
Mhm.
had like super thick phone book cookie jar like catalogs that would come out every year that had
Yeah, reference guide.
yeah, it was like a reference guide for what is hot and kind of like how much they sell for, the range that they sell for. And she found one that was like $1,500 or something, and she sold it. She sold it for around $1,500 on eBay, and she paid like $20 for it. And I remember like everybody got extra gifts at Christmas, and we got like pizza a lot more on the weekends.
That's great, man.
Yeah, she was really happy about that. So she has that same thing that I have, like the thrill of the hunt, looking for something that is making something out of nothing, basically, and
Mhm.
trying to make it big by purchasing something at a yard sale or an estate sale that somebody might not have any idea the value of it, that's browsing around the garage sale, or people are just cleaning out their house and they want this stuff gone because the house is going to be selling in a week. So you go to estate sales a lot and stuff like that. So that's what I grew up around. So that's kind of, I already had an idea for it. But
Yeah.
specifically, I remember the first thing that I flipped per se. I was in like sixth or seventh grade. I was walking to the bus stop, which was about a quarter mile down the street. And in our neighborhood, Thursdays were garbage day. So in this garbage, there was like a 125-gallon aquarium, a tank, let's say a tank. Um,
Yeah.
so it looked like for fish, it was an aquarium. It had a stand with it as well. But there's a huge crack going down the side of it. Like so I didn't grow up in a rich household or anything. So I repurposed a lot of stuff, and I saw the value in like broken stuff or little stuff. And I thought to myself, that is like a humongous aquarium. I know those things are like thousands of dollars if you buy them from the store. And what say we can't make this cracked aquarium into a reptile tank? Why can't? Why does this have to go to the landfill? Why can't we just make it into a reptile tank? So uh, I thought about that tank while I was at school all day, and I finally like mustered up the courage to talk to one of my friends and say, "Hey, do you want to do this with me when I get off the bus? I want to carry this thing home, clean it up." And at the time, Craigslist was pump it was bumping, so I don't even think Facebook Marketplace was a thing yet. I wanted to throw it up on Craigslist and see if I could sell it so somebody could repurpose it, and my little sixth grade self can make some money because I never came around money like ever.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's kind of embarrassing asking for to do that with your friend just because there's a stigma to people digging in the garbage and like digging out of the garbage and stuff like that. So he said yes, and we carried this thing all the way to my house. Two little sixth graders. This thing was probably almost 100 pounds, and we carried it down the street. We looked crazy, and we brought it home, took some pictures of it, cleaned it up, and I think within the same day or the next day, somebody I had a bunch of messages like, "Let me buy this, let me buy this," and I think I sold it for like 100 or 150 bucks or 200 bucks or something like that. And I split the money with my friend, and I was hooked ever since. I was because $100 or how much ever I made back then, I was a baller. I had so much money for a sixth
Yeah.
grader. So I was like, this is lucrative. This is a good way to come across money. I can buy GameCube games. I can buy Xbox 360 games. I can buy more DS games. I could buy shoes. I could buy anything if I keep doing this and find more stuff. And I did that for a while, and I was storing everything in my parents' garage at the time. They thought I was crazy, but there'd be like this 13 or 14-year-old sitting in the garage waiting for like a 40-year-old to come. And then when they show up and they're like, okay, where's the item? And it's like, oh yeah, yeah, right over here, right over here. So I was kind of like a little businessman, I guess, back in the day. But that's how I got hooked on reselling. And then when I got old enough, I started to also ride my bike to like garage sales that were local. And then when I got old enough to get a car, I started driving my car to garage sales, yard sales, and thrift stores and stuff like that. So that's where I got the bug, and I got hooked on it. So I started doing it a lot more.
Hell yeah, man. I mean, I didn't know any of that, so that was very insightful. Um, yeah, I mean, picking stuff from the garbage, I guess it just depends on what type of garbage we're talking about, but like that seemed like it probably wasn't dangerous. Um, Not that you would really care at a 12, I think like sixth
Or,
graders are like
or
12 years
no,
old.
or no at that time, like something
Yeah.
hazardous or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, but restoration and repurposing things like that, I mean, that's pretty sweet. And back then, like using your phone to check prices and stuff wasn't a thing yet, at least not for the majority of people. So yeah, you were just kind of taking a chance on that,
yeah,
based on like common sense, it seemed, because he said brand new, it was probably like thousands of dollars and stuff. So yeah, I mean, you sold it, and for like you said, 150 or so
something
bucks.
like that. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And then you split it, and as a sixth grader, like $100 is like $1 million. So,
Yeah.
and then like whoever bought it probably had a freaking awesome day too, because they
Yeah,
didn't have to pay a
those,
thousand.
those things are expensive. Yeah, and whoever,
Yeah.
I think he said he was like putting an iguana in it or something. So it worked out for everybody. So I can't complain.
Well, hell yeah, man. What's your favorite game console? And this is kind of like a two-part question. So it's like favorite game console and top three favorite video games of all time. Doesn't have to be from that console though.
Gotcha. There's way too many games that I have a passion for that I like. So I kind of want to narrow that down into, I guess, the games that I gravitated towards the most as a kid or sunk the most hours into as a kid. Um, there's there's quite a few, and there's probably way too many to mention. But my elementary school was about a quarter mile down the block. I used to walk to school and walk home as a young one, like second grade to fifth grade. Um, and that's when I had my GameCube, and that's when I sunk probably close to 1,000 to 2,000 hours into Super Smash Bros. Melee. That was my game for sure as a kid. That
I was
was
about to say, damn, man, you were whipping ass.
that
Who'd you
was,
like playing with?
that was my favorite game by far on the GameCube for sure. That was the game I put the most hours into. But I remember as a kid sprinting home after school was out at 3
Mhm.
just so I can jump on Melee and try to get unlock the next character. And I was pretty bad at the game, so it took me a lot longer than it normally would for somebody else. But that game I have a lot of memories with. I still have my old memory card actually too. I have a little Bart Simpson sticker on this like 128 megabyte card for the GameCube. I have two actually. I still think in my shoebox. I have a memory shoebox, and yeah, I still have it with me. So I have my save file and everything on it, which is really cool. But yeah, that game probably 1,000 to 2,000 hours sunk into it. Just like unlocking Mewtwo was like 20 hours of like battling, I think, to get the
Yeah.
last character, which was Mewtwo, and then or Game and Watch might have been the last character, but that game for sure would be on my list. Another one of those games that I would run home from school to play was SmackDown vs. Raw 2007.
Nice.
Wrestling, I was a humongous wrestling fan as a kid. I could not get enough of all the wrestling games. Here Comes the Pain, Just Bring It, all of the niche games, and then all of like the big name titles. But I think 2007 was the one I gravitated most to, and that's what I played with my brothers and the PS2. So we had every single console, like five of every single console growing up. I grew up in a big household. I have six siblings, so we would break
Wow.
whatever we had, spill Dr. Pepper on it, or whatever, and my dad would have to go out and buy a new one. So yeah, SmackDown vs. Raw 2007, Super Smash Bros. Melee, and then I'll throw a Hail Mary out there, RuneScape. RuneScape was probably the game that I also sunk a lot of time into, and I still reference it to this day. I still play it on occasion, but I will reference that game in my everyday life all the time. One of my cats is Taverly, so anybody who's played the game, I have a cat named Taverly, so that kind of explains my love for RuneScape. So yeah, those three games for sure. But there's just hundreds and hundreds of more that I can talk to you about for a very,
Oh
very
yeah.
long time that I've just either played or uh, beat or anything like that. But I say those three games, and then my favorite console by far has to be the GameCube. That's what I grew up with, and then the Nintendo DS Lite.
Oh yeah.
Lots and lots of time playing that. So yeah, those are the two consoles that I gravitate towards the most still to this day, and just have the most nostalgia for me.
I wasn't a big GameCube guy. I mostly played that over at other people's houses, but everybody that had a GameCube, still to this day, they always say that Melee is their favorite Smash. So it
That
must have just hit right, you
I,
know?
I got to be controversial and say that the best Super Smash Brothers that was ever created, in my opinion, was Brawl for the Wii.
The Wii.
The storyline was amazing. The Subspace Emissary was just amazing. All the characters that you wanted to see in Melee finally came.
Yeah,
So that game was just a masterpiece to me. The music, and I spent a lot of time playing that game too. So that's a controversial take though, but Super Smash
for
Bros.
sure.
Brawl is the best one.
Yeah. I mean, I did play a lot of that one, but I personally like the Switch, the Ultimate, just because it has everybody in it.
That's very true.
Um, but yeah, I mean, the GameCube, I had DS lights, man. I probably had two or three different ones. I think I bought my girlfriend at the time one as well. So I guess I can kind of count that as one of the ones that I bought. But yeah, I used to have so much fun playing that. And it was so like perfect for your like pocket. I would play it at work. Like I used to work at Subway like back then when the DS was hot shit. And I would play Mega Man Star Force
Oh yeah.
waiting on people to come in because I was doing like the slow shifts, which was like I'd be there from like noon to 5, but then after lunch, like 2 to 5 o'clock, you only have like 30 minutes worth of stuff you got to do, and then I'm just sitting there playing Mega Man or man, I can't even think. Oh well, obviously Pokemon. I was playing Pearl. Pearl was
I
my
played
go to.
Diamond. I played Diamond and Platinum, and
Yeah,
those are my two Pokemon DS games that I played. I don't have them anymore. I ended up selling them for a new console, but those
yeah.
were those were really really nostalgic and good games for me. I still reminisce on those. The
I
child,
played I played Platinum too, but I
yeah,
did not ever think that you would say you played RuneScape.
RuneScape.
So
Old school RuneScape now is really good, but back in the day, as a young one on my old family's computer, just 2005 RuneScape, learning the it's an MMORPG, so you're talking to people from like around the world, and
yeah,
you're learning about like real life situations in that game, like scamming and curse words and news topics and pop culture, and you're like, I'm just a young little kid, but this is awesome. I don't know what that is, but yeah, I'm here for it.
yeah. I used to have a friend named Luke he was like the only dude I knew in real life that played RuneScape, and I remember I'd go over to his house. It was him and our friend Matt. They kind of lived together, and with Matt's grandparents. And I'd be hanging out with Matt, and I'm like, dude, like we got to figure out a way to get Luke off this stupid game because, like, to us it was stupid because it's like an indie made. Well, it was indie made. I don't know about now, but it looked kind of crappy. But it is a fun game. Now, did you ever play or hear about another MMORPG around that time called Conquer?
I am familiar with Conquer. You had to purchase that and run it on a disc, right?
No, I think it was a free to play game, but yeah, it was called Conquer Online. Not like the Squirrel game or anything. That's on the 64 and the
Yeah,
360.
Conquer. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they ported a Conquer game to 360, but yeah, I mean it was kind of similar, but you would have to go around and you would get these like random drops of these like meteors that kind of look like Dragon Balls. So people would call them Dragon Balls. Um, It was a pretty fun game, but I mean, yeah, it's just a life sucking game, just like or a
Uh,
time, as M. Seamer says, a time vampire, just like RuneScape.
yeah, dude,
Yeah,
you're chopping a tree for 30 hours, and then you finally unlock a level where you can go chop a different tree for 30 hours. It's
I think there was a tree chopping thing in that game, but I guess that's just how MMORPGs go.
I played some other ones though growing up, like Wizard 101 and Adventure Quest.
Hmm.
I was on addicting games all the time, Crazy Monkey games, cool math games. I'd play a bunch of Flash stuff and Java stuff, but yeah, I never played Conquer. But it sounds familiar. I probably heard of it or knew somebody that played it.
Yeah, I think they still make it now. I think it's like a mobile game, but
Okay.
you earned some respect for saying RuneScape because, like, I mean, I never ever thought I'd hear about that game again. But
It's niche. It's very niche, and the following's there. If you find somebody out in the wild that played it before, they know everything. Just like you'll know everything about the game.
yeah,
Super good and nostalgic.
you share a special bond with
Yeah.
other PC nerds.
Yeah.
Um, so some of the fan questions I got, I think there's about like 6 or 7 of them,
Yeah.
and they're going to be more aggressive compared to the kind of questions that I'm asking. They're more confrontational, which I'm kind of like over that at this point
Yeah.
with confronting resellers. Most of the time, like when people leave negative comments, I just kind of ignore it unless I just am in that mood that day.
Yeah. I got you.
Um, so the first one was: do you believe that flipping medical machines or devices for profit is ethical, and is it something that you've done?
Medical machines. I don't think I've ever bought a medical machine or any sort of like machine that helps people health wise or anything like that.
Yeah.
Are you talking about a company that is buying them used and then reselling them to hospitals that need them, or like a company that is wholesaling these to hospitals? Or
Yeah, so I did a chase after the right price video recently, and it was an older video, and he had bought a CPAP machine for
okay,
like
for
15
scoring.
bucks. Yeah. And I made a short about it, and so it's kind of like a fresh topic for people that watch my channel. After I made the video, I found out that it's actually illegal for people to do that. Like you have to sell it back to like a restoration company
Okay,
or something like that where they're like licensed to make sure they're sanitized because it's like a health thing, you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
So people wanted to know if like you've ever done that or like maybe like a diabetic blood sugar machine or anything like that people really need. You
got
ever?
you. So I don't think I would ever do that. I would never purchase something that has somebody else's DNA on it or like somebody's blood or something like that. I
Yeah.
had, uh, speaking of that, I had an opportunity. I was at a yard sale, and this lady who was selling this like $300 breast pump. I think she had two of them. So there's like $600 worth of breast pumps, and she was
Mhm.
trying to sell them for like $30 for both of them or something like that. I looked them up, and they sell used good. Uh, and if they were brand new in the box, I would have bought them. But she told me that she used both of them once, and I was like, yeah, this isn't something I want to mess with because, like, like you said, like the desanitation process and like somebody's
Yeah.
gonna buy this used breast pump. It's it's not something that I would get into the territory of doing.
It's weird.
Like a CPAP machine is like a snoring machine that you would put a mask on. So that has to have like DNA all down the tube of just
Hmm.
whatever the person was respirating in there. So that's probably disgusting too to try to resell that to somebody. And
It is. Yeah.
but I guess there's a market for everything. If somebody wants to buy a used CPAP machine because they're down on their luck or they don't have money or they don't have like
Insurance.
income coming through, insurance especially, that might be for them. So I'm assuming there's a market for everything, but I wouldn't dip my toes into something that has somebody's DNA on it. Like I don't like to even buy like use like kitchenware much. So like
Mhm.
like a coffee machine. I think I bought once, and I'll never ever buy that again, just because like the water that was sitting in there and it would brew, and it wasn't cleaned right when it was stored, so it might have mold, and if I'm gonna sell to somebody, they're gonna use it. That's not what I want to do. So yeah, I kind of stray away from that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think there's a water aspect to a CPAP too. That's to keep you from like drying out. So it is possible for it to have mold too. I think I'm not knowledgeable on that, but from
Yeah.
what people have told me, Keith the Picket preacher, he uses a CPAP machine,
Okay.
and so he told me a lot about it. Like after he saw my video and everything. But as far as like kitchenware and stuff goes, I'm like the same way. Like, man, I would rather just buy it brand new and make sure
Yeah.
that it's sterile.
Yeah.
Um, I, I'm even weird about like leftover food and stuff. Like, I
Okay.
just, yeah, I just throw stuff out, even if it's only like a day in the fridge. So yeah, I just can't relate to like wanting to buy, something like that used. But I guess if you were broke and desperate, you would take the risk and
If you need one, if your doctor tells you that you need one, and you don't have insurance, I would see somebody buying it to help them because they need it.
yeah.
But uh, you said that Chase at the right price bought one. Do you know that if he divulged at all, if he sanitized it or cleaned it, or he was going to do that, or was it in
Mhm.
another video after that he was going to do it, or did he say he sold it?
So it was a video from like 4 years ago, and it was only about 12 seconds of his video. It was just kind of like a thrown in there like extra thing that he bought. So I don't know if he ever like followed up on it or anything. He might have, because I know he has that secondary channel where he does more like laid back
Yeah,
types of videos. So he may have in that video been like, yeah, I actually can't sell this because of these rules. I don't know. I just saw what I saw and just reacted accordingly. But also, I mean, even people that can't afford those types of machines, they can do payment plans. I know there's charity, a lot of the times with hospitals and stuff that can help
yeah,
with that. Because I think for you to get approved for a CPAP machine, you have to take a sleep test. So you have to go to
yeah.
like a
A
hospital
sleep study.
or,
Yeah,
yeah, you have to go to a sleep study. So they would probably have, like, if you're like, I can't afford this, but, I might die in my sleep if I don't have it. I think that would be one of those things where they'd be like, well, we could try to submit charity pending approval and stuff. And I know a little bit about that kind of thing because I work in the home health field.
got you. Yeah,
Um,
I'm ignorant to that topic, so I don't know if there's any laws or restrictions on selling that stuff. All I know as a common sense individual is that there would be DNA on that used
yeah,
product, and it would need to be sterilized thoroughly, or
definitely.
at least if you're going to resell it, to put that in the caption that when you buy this, or like market at a discount, when you buy this, please get this cleaned, or do something to sanitize it because it's unsanitized or something like that. I don't even know if eBay
Right.
lets you do that. If they let you sell,
Yeah, you're not allowed to because
yeah,
it's illegal. They take it down. Yeah.
yeah, okay, so yeah, that makes perfect sense. I'm ignorant to that, so I don't know, but
We're more interested in buying things that are like fun and cool, not necessarily to save people's lives or help them make, dinner or whatever.
yeah, yeah, I got you.
So, all right, next question. Someone just said ask him about the estate sale shit show. So,
Oh man,
I can give the backstory real quick or you
yeah,
can.
go ahead, go ahead.
So, it was sometime last year Kreesky went to an estate sale. It was actually your first one, right?
It was the first one that I documented. Yeah,
Documented, yeah. And apparently there was this other guy that had got there at like midnight the night before,
yeah.
just hanging out outside because you got there at like 5:30 or 6 in the morning, right?
Oh yeah, I got there at like 5 a.m. and the list I think came out at like 9 or something, or the list was supposed to come out at 9 or
Mhm.
something along the lines of that. But yeah, there was when I pulled up, there was a car parked there, and when I eventually went up, there was two names on the list, and that guy was one of them. I was, I think, the third person or something.
Yeah, but ultimately, like what had happened is you were like third, and you got in there and went right to the video game stuff because there was this huge advertisement at this estate sale,
Yeah,
lot of retro games, and you get in there and the dude just went in there like like trumped it all. He's like, I'm buying every single thing. I don't need to look at it. Which is a total dick move. And of course, I made a reaction video to it because it was nice to see a reseller have to feel like what normal people sometimes go through when they're trying to game hunt too. But it was a dick move. You ended up getting a nice couple of boxes, which are still very profitable. They were hidden. So
Yeah, I still have I think 75% of those boxes that I found in my collection in my cabinet right here. But
yeah,
I could divulge more on that story. That video was actually almost like trending in the way that small YouTubers could trend. I think it hit like 20,000 views in like 8 hours, which was like a
yeah, it was
whole lot.
wild.
It was a whole lot for me, and that guy found out that I was a YouTuber. We were talking outside, so about 30 minutes before they opened the doors, I went to the front of the line and I saw him there and I talked to him. He seemed like a genuine guy. There was like, if you watch that video, I know it got taken down, but I put it back up. I took all the stuff that needed to come out of it because he kept posting complaints on my video just because I
Yeah,
guess
not to cut you off, but he didn't want you to have any of the games and he didn't want you to have any footage. So
yeah.
it's just like he took everything possible from you.
Yeah, he's still local. I still see him on Facebook Marketplace posting up stuff. But we were standing out there. There was like 40 people, and he sounded cool. He was just genuine, and we all were talking about like, did you see the table of games? Yeah, I did see the table of games. Oh, which ones are you gonna go for? And there's one guy like, oh, I need this Sega Saturn game. I need it for my collection. And then there's another guy like, oh, I'm gonna go for whatever the Wii games or something like that. And then that guy was just silent. He wasn't saying anything. He should have at least had the audacity to say, "Hey guys, I'm first on the line, and unfortunately, I run a business, or I want every single game on this table, so I'm gonna walk in there and buy the entire table.
Mhm.
So if you guys don't want to waste any more of your time, I know you guys been here for over 4 hours, and
Right.
I didn't tell you a peep until now. Like that's still crazy, but if you have the audacity to just be like, hey, I'm buying the table, so anybody who wants to go home for the day, like go home because I'm first in line and I'm gonna buy the table. That would have been like respectful to do, but
Yeah.
he kept quiet. And when the doors opened, he ran in there and he safeguarded the entire table. He was like, everybody stop grabbing stuff off the table, stop grabbing stuff. I'm buying the whole table. I want everything. And then uh, the legend himself, the dude with the blue shirt and the glasses, I wish I can get in contact with him because I kind of wanted to interview him for that day that occurred. He was like, you're buying the entire table. You're not even going to look at it. What
Everything.
are you joking? Everything. You're buying everything. And he was super super mad. That guy was he was waiting just almost as much as I was waiting. He was probably waiting. He got there like an hour after me, so that's like 3.5 hours he was waiting. So yeah, there was a lot of mad people at that estate sale, which is the exact reason I don't go to estate sales. You'll see people, they have content on YouTube. They storm in there with a bag and they just start ripping stuff off the table, and then they
Yeah.
run down to the basement. Then they rip like a VCR off the stand, and the wires fly out of it. Then they shove that in their bag, and then like they're ducking and dodging and destroying somebody's house.
Nobody needs to be that desperate. You know what I mean? Like,
That's it's pretty yeah, it's pretty foul. It's insane to see people act like animals when it
pretty
comes to
much.
trying to get the stuff that they want. Um,
But yeah, that everything guy, the one that's like everything, you're taking everything without even looking at it. That guy is a GIF legend in my Discord and your Discord
yeah,
because
somebody made a gif of him in my Discord, and
I see that fucking GIF like probably every day, and it's always funny.
yeah,
But yeah, man, I mean, he was there since midnight. He had plenty of time, as everybody did, to tell you guys his plan. But he chose not to do that. So now he took the games from you. He wouldn't allow you to show him doing it on the internet,
yeah,
which might even cost you a lot of subscribers because, like you said, that video was hitting. and it was. I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw the view counts before it had gotten removed. But then like he wasted your time too. Like, so when I always say in my videos, like there's good resellers and there's bad resellers, or maybe resellers that sometimes don't do the best thing, but they're generally okay. That guy is a prime example of a bad reseller because not only is he doing that kind of stuff to people that want to buy the things, but like he's not even on your team. And like, resellers typically collaborate and work together.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of that, if you don't remember, when I was outside, I was talking to a nice guy. His name was Cyrus. Um,
yeah,
he was very passionate about starting his own YouTube channel, which I think he did. I don't recall the exact name of it. I can definitely send it to you. You can put it in the link down below. I think it's Regenerate, something like that. Regenerate something. But his name was Cyrus. He was a super, super cool dude. He was waiting there. He got there really late, like an hour before the doors were open. He was like 30th on the list.
damn,
I was talking with him, and he was talking about like resellers on YouTube, and he saw my GoPro. He's like, "Oh, are you a YouTuber?" I was like, "Yeah," and he's like, "I've never heard of you, but that's really cool. I want to look you up." Um, I'm starting my own collection too. Like he just quit a job that he hated, and he is so passionate about trying to make like a brick and mortar video game store.
hmm
Once he's done going down the path that he has to go. And he wanted to be a YouTuber first, and then he wanted to do exactly what I was doing, going to the garage sales and estate sales and stuff like that. And he was like, "Hey, can you sell me some of this stuff at a discounted rate?" And I ended up doing that. I sold it to him for like 50% value or something like that. Even though I could have sold it for a lot more. And I made a connection with him, and I made a friend, and he's in my Discord still to this day. He's a really cool dude. But
yeah,
that's imagine that that's just one dude that was waiting in line trying to get one specific thing from that table to complete their collection or make their collection whole or whatever like that. And I know a lot of people talked about it in the comments, but anybody who was at that estate sale saw the prices of the games on the table. I think Blue Shirt Guy started talking a little bit of shit once he lost out on the table, and he's like, "You're paying $35 for Metroid for the NES? Like that price chart's at $25. Like, what are you doing?" And it's like $55 for a Nintendo DS Lite. Are you mad? He just started talking like mad shit to this guy, which is really funny. But
yeah,
after he bought the table, I know if anybody saw the video, I was stumped. I was like, I got like tunnel vision. I was like, I wasted my time. I've been here for 5 hours almost. I wasted my time sincerely. I went over to a Lego set, which was like the Star Wars Destroyer, and I know
yeah.
those are really really cool. I know a lot of people collect those, so I was like, yeah, let's go ahead and see if we can buy this, and it was like $1,200 marked on the box. So I'm like, all right, I'm done. I sit in the middle of the room and I kind of gathered my thoughts for like a minute, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna call it quits and go home. But then I saw one of the stereos that I saw in the listing, and I was like, stereos, they do good. Let's see if this is overpriced. But then when I was looking at that stereo, I looked to the right, and there was a box of most of those Nintendo 64 games that were on the table. The box and like some of the manuals for them too, mint
Yeah,
condition. Yeah, the estate sale ladies thought they were garbage just because they're cardboard boxes, and
right. They don't know.
they just stored them under the table to get rid of them later. They didn't know that it went with any of the stuff that was on the table. And I grabbed it and I was like, "Are you throwing this out or is this for sale? How much is this?" And they were like, "You want boxes? Why do you want empty cardboard boxes? $2 a piece?" And I
Yeah,
was like, "Yeah, whatever. Just I'll
you were
buy it."
like, I remember that in the video because it's like the funniest moment to me. You're like, you like see it and you go, "I'll buy this."
Yeah, yeah, that was insane to see that box of just colorful Nintendo stuff and it not being touched by the two goons that were running the show that came in and they were like just buying the whole entire table. And then like one
Mhm.
goon went upstairs to get the remnants. They found a couple of GameCube games up there, and then
Yeah,
the other goon. There was like I think there's three of them. One of them went downstairs and grab
That's
some
a
stuff from downstairs. They were running the whole show. They were all working together.
Yeah,
And
that's a common thing. They go because I know Paul Cantu, he's a clothing guy, does the same thing. He has like three or four people with him, um, so that nobody gets anything
yeah,
worth anything
I,
except for him.
I thought it was extremely funny that one of them asked me when I pulled that box from the table, "Are you buying all of them? Can I get one of them?" Or like, "Are you going to buy all of them? I'll be next in line." It's I don't ever go to estate sales due to that estate sale just because it's so toxic and
Hmm.
most of the time it's a waste of time. But there is good and bad. So I did find that box of games, and then I met Cyrus. I met a few other people. There was this lady, older lady, and she took a picture with me. She recognized me from YouTube. Uh,
Yeah,
she goes to estate sales just because she watches me do it. So she literally got inspired by me. So it was really cool to see
hell
somebody like
yeah,
that. So there was good and the bad, but estate sales are a hard no now. Never going to be going to those just because they take up way too much time, and there's usually inside trades that are going on too. So you're not even getting what you see in the photos because it's already sold.
right. Yeah, and I've told people. I think I even said it in my video about it that you ended up with like a better thing. Like yeah, the guy got
Saying, yeah,
Yeah, the other guy got like the whole table of stuff, but like you only had like 30 or 40 things. So like you could list all that or whatever you didn't want to keep. You could list
well,
all that. It'd
yeah,
be done in like half a day. He's going to have to sit on stuff until it's worth more money cuz obviously if it's 25 and he paid 35, he's got to wait.
apparently that guy made like $4,000 or something. I remember the first video I posted, he left a comment and he's like, Um, actually, there was this game and this stuff that was underpriced. I ended up coming out with like $3,000 of He paid like I don't remember, like 3 grand or four, something like 2 or 3 grand cash for all the
Yeah.
stuff. On like just give me it all. I'm not even gonna look at it. Not gonna test it or anything like that. But
I remember he did a Reddit post.
yeah, he was upset. He was very upset.
Yeah, he went on there, probably couldn't find it now, but he went on Reddit and he was asking other resellers if what he did was wrong.
I
And
think it was
obviously,
game collecting or something like that.
yeah,
Right.
everybody that replied was like, "Nah, fuck those other guys. Like you did what you did. You had every right to." And so he was looking for some kind of validation, but that's the thing though is like if you feel like you need validation about something like that, then you already know the real answer is yes, you fucking did some shit that was wrong.
he The least he could have did was tell everybody that he was acting like a chum too out there. That I'm buying the entire table. You don't have to
Yeah.
waste your time anymore because there obviously there's more garage sales to go to. There's more yard sales. There might even be more estate sales. People are waiting to get this one out of the way to
Mhm.
continue their Saturday morning or their Friday morning. So
Yep.
yeah, he put a damper on a lot of things and it left a bad taste in everybody's mouth, pretty much. But he was on Reddit crying about it, and he was saying like I'm not a bad guy, I'm not a bad guy.
No, he
But
is.
he got the video taken down too, and I reposted it, and then he got it taken down again a couple times. So it was at that point it wasn't out of like privacy concerns. It was out of hatred. Like he was
Yeah,
not
because you
trying
kept
to.
cutting it out to where like
There was nothing about him in the video. Like
yeah.
at one of the videos, I took out the entire scene of me going into the room. So
Mhm.
that's how much he was out of the video, and yeah, that wasn't enough. He kept reporting it. But Illinois has a law where you have no expectation of privacy in public. So I could have fought YouTube with it and said like, "Hey, he has no expectation of privacy. This is a public event." But I didn't want to get too much into a hassle with it. So
Right. No,
we
I
said,
get it, man.
cut your losses because the video wasn't going to trend anymore like it was trending. So he got what he wanted times two. So
Yeah. I mean, dude, if that guy made a YouTube channel, I probably would have already got banned from the platform because
yeah.
I would have shat on him and he would have sued me or something. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, you know, screw estate sales, man.
Yeah,
Nothing but bad times.
yeah, they're not worth the time.
So, all right, next question. Uh, they say my question for Kreesky is that I want him to outline his principles of business ethics. He seems to express that he has a sense of what is right and what is wrong in the practice of reselling, and I am interested in hearing what that is.
Yeah, we
That's a
can.
that's a like real question right there.
That's a loaded question. Yeah. I think regardless of how you portray yourself on a platform like YouTube, you're still going to get haters. I'm sure you're sure of it, or you're aware of it. You get
I am.
haters. You get haters no matter what. My last video, there was this guy that I got a connection with him, and he is like an older dude who doesn't have a lot of money, and his storage units. They're trying to evict him from his storage units, so he is digging through these storage units to find stuff of value that he doesn't want. So like when I went in there, he had like a bunch of like family photos. He had a whole bunch of stuff that he finds nostalgic and stuff that he wants to keep because it's memorable to him. But there's
Mhm.
stuff that he does not care about, like specifically the video game stuff. He said
Yeah.
that these are for kids. I don't want to do anything with them. He just keeps calling me for them. So I bought like 4 carloads from this guy, and the next carload that I bought from him, he went digging through one of these storage units again, getting all dirty. He's like an older gentleman, older dude. I ended up giving him like almost double what he was asking, and I was getting shit for it. They were like on the comments like, "Oh, why are you trying to act like a good guy? Like, why did you pay him so much money? This stuff's not even worth that." And it's like, listen, like I have not only do I have a connection with this guy because he is the plug for any video game related stuff that he has in these 3 storage units he has.
Mhm.
He's like a genuine human being. He's a nice guy, so I wanted to help him out because he's literally digging through these dirty storage units to find some money to pay his rent. So I ended up I'm doing pretty well, so I wanted to share some of the wealth with him. So I gave him almost double what he was asking, and he was
And
super.
if I recall, we're not talking about $50 to $100. We're talking like 600 to
Yeah,
1200,
I
right?
think I gave him like $500 more than he was asking, or something, like $400
Yeah.
more than he was asking, and he was super happy about that, and it made me happy to see him happy because most of the interactions that I had with him, he's really like down in the dumps because
Right, because he needs
no
money.
no old dude wants to be digging through their storage units and having somebody
Yeah.
breathe down their neck to sell these things and stuff like that. So yeah, he's a nice guy. I'm still in connection with him. He does actually have some more game stuff. He keeps saying that was the last of it, but he said that he has some more stuff. So I might make a video on that. I might not, depending on how much it is. But he has like 1,000 records that I was interested maybe in dabbling in, but I know uh, I'll keep all the records that I want, like all the Hendrix, the Doors, Stevie Ray Vaughan,
Yeah.
Zeppelin, all the records that I want. I don't even have a record player yet, but I have a small collection in my closet that I found throughout the years going to garage sales. So I have like Jimi Hendrix, Bold as Love. I have Dire Straits. I have a few Zeppelin albums.
Hell
So
yeah.
yeah, I want to get a record collection going. So I would probably most likely buy all of his records and then sort through them and keep all the ones that I want and then try to sell all the other ones to get my money back. But it's a gamble with records because you don't know if they're scratched and a lot of them are only like 50 cents a record and a lot of it could be like polka because he said if you're gonna buy a handful of them, you're gonna buy all of them, and I respect that because he wants to move all of the stuff. So
Right. Yeah.
I might be having him in a few more videos depending on what he finds. But yeah, that's an example of the morality that I took to the lengths of giving him almost double what he was asking, and I still got crap for it. But I think that a good business motto to go by is try to make a deal where in the end both parties are happy. So
Right.
if the person's happy doing what they're doing, whether it's getting all this junk, a lot of the times I find stuff it's like parents who are like, this is junk. This stuff needs to get out of my garage. It's taking up space. My attic is filled with this crap. I don't want it. Some people even said like, I don't want to go through the hassle of taking it to a GameStop or a disc replay. I'd rather just sell it all at one lump sum. And yeah, that's how a lot of people are getting rid of stuff nowadays, and that's how I find a lot of stuff on Facebook Marketplace. As long
And
as both parties are happy, I feel like that's a pretty good business model to go by.
And if I could add some input there to the haters that like had a problem with you even paying double, what you've done is you've created like a long-term business relationship because the guy now knows that you're not a bullshitter.
Yeah,
I think
that's true. Yeah, but I feel like the I guess the tap is dry. He doesn't really have any like game stuff anymore. But like, there's other stuff
Mhm.
you could buy from him. But I mean, at that point, I was having some empathy for him. Like, this guy's
Yeah.
going through some stuff. Like,
Well, he
um,
could always have friends or relatives that
yeah,
want to
that's true.
offload too. Yeah.
It's
So,
always good to make connections, and it's always good to be nice to every individual that you meet, because I have found a lot of stuff. I would go to a garage sale and ask for some games or Pokemon cards, walk to my car, and somebody who was at the garage sale would be like, "My kid has a bunch of those I've been trying to get rid of for years," and then I'm
right.
driving to their house and buying their stuff. So
Power of the
you,
ask.
yeah, it's power of the ask. You really don't know what people have, and it's always good to just stick your neck out there and ask somebody like, "Hey, I'm looking for this stuff. Do you have any?" And then,
Yeah. I
yeah,
think a lot of YouTube resellers are more focused on getting that basically dirt cheap or free
yeah,
$1,500 like thing so they can get a really good successful video that gets traction and stuff.
yeah,
But the long haul and going about it the right way, like, taking care of people and stuff, like that's the better way to go. Cause like in the long run,
yeah,
you know, you might not get as many views on that video, but you'll get more money because you'll constantly do better business with that person or more business.
yeah. And the other thing is, being a YouTuber is, I didn't realize how much positivity would come my way regarding people seeing me and then starting a YouTube channel. Or,
Hmm.
Kreesky, you're the reason that I started going to garage sales, and I found a whole box of Game Boy stuff that I used to have from my childhood, and now I'm starting my collection back. Everything thanks to you. So it's like everything's doing a 360. So when I was the young one without anything, looking at like Cincinnati Picker or Froggy Flips, it seems like people are now looking up to me and like wanting to pursue that sort of, I guess, like the business ethics of stuff, and like collecting in general, and game hunting and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So it's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, that is a positive aspect to it is I mean, as long as we're adding, collectors and gamers and not necessarily more resellers like how Caleb does, good old Phoenix resale. I know you kind of have good graces with him or whatever, and that's fine. And he's a cool guy, as a person, he's nice, very cool to talk to. But I just will never ever be on his business side of things. Like I just
I
can't
got
get down with it.
I respect that. I do see him as a very, very intelligent person, and I think he knows what he's doing, and he's very lucrative in his ways.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you have saw recently, he has a, not his app, but a game list where other, not only resellers, but anybody from the sorts can message him and get this buy list, and then you could go ahead and sell your stuff to Caleb. And if you
Yeah.
look at his buy list, some of the stuff is what you would expect to get if you sold it on eBay. So if you were trying to sell like Pokemon, like Leaf Green, he's like, "I'll give you $90 cash for it," which is insane because it sells for like 130 or something on eBay. So I find that really cool because not a lot of people can do that, but he has a big cushion of money to be able to do that. I don't know if he's taken out a loan or what, but he
Yeah.
has a big amount of money to play with, which makes him be able to buy it at those prices to keep his business going, even though that he might only make like 10% on you, 20% on you. And it's just the all of those little transactions add up, and now he has a successful business that he's running on Amazon.
Yeah. I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about him, but
Yeah,
he offers a lot like that. He offers a lot like that because he sells it on Amazon, which is higher than price charting. So
yeah.
that's why he can offer that much. Um, but yeah, next question. Ask Kreesky what is the most single scummiest thing that you've ever done as far as a reseller goes.
Single scummiest thing. I'm
Yeah.
sure I'm sure people have a lot to talk about with me, even any transaction I do with being a scumbag, but I can't remember any time that there's times where I felt like a scumbag. If you remember one of my videos, I bought a Pokemon collection from an older lady who was like an hour north from me, hour and a half north. And instead
Mhm.
of wanting to drive to meet up, she opted for sending me a package. And a lot of the Pokemon buys I do, they are blind buys. So I'm digging through the stuff to see if I'm going to make my money back. And I found like an amazing card. It was like a Shining Gyarados first edition. And I felt to myself like, holy crap, I have to PayPal this lady more money. And I did. And I showed evidence of it too, just because all the haters that wouldn't believe me anyway. But that there's times where I do feel like that, but I try to make it right by giving them more money or letting them know, like, hey, I'm going to be doing this for you, whether it's giving you $100 more or whatever. But that is a topic that I did want to talk about with you. I
Okay.
know a lot of people they go against the business model of pay for what they ask for. I know that we've divulged a little bit on this in Discord chats.
Yeah.
So if somebody comes up to you and says, "Hey, I have this," and then they set the price for you, and then you pay them whatever they want. How do you feel about that sort of business transaction? Like the person doesn't want it and didn't take the time to research it before selling it to some random person. They just dug it out and they said that this looks like junk. $100, $200, or something like that. How do you feel about that sort of like business transaction?
So I've kind of touched on it a lot before in the past and everything. It's all situational. It depends because there's a difference between 5xing your money with a $2 purchase that gets you $10 compared to like a $20 purchase that gets you $80 or $100 that gets you $500. Um, for me personally, I if I have the knowledge and somebody is trying to sell me something, they don't care about it, but clearly they want money. Otherwise, they would just give it to me. Then yeah, I mean, I would probably be more upfront. I've talked about Budokai Tenkaichi 3 a lot and how it goes CIB for like 180.
Yeah,
And if I was in a situation where I like saw that at like a yard sale and they wanted like $5 for it, I would want that game to just have it for myself because it's a good game and I love Dragon Ball. But if I knew it was $180 and I had more money, like obviously if you're at a yard sale, you probably only got like $20 to $50 on you. But I
no,
would try to, I would
actually,
try to.
a lot of resellers they're pulling up with like 2 grand, a
Well,
grand.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I'm talking. I'm not. The mindset of a reseller. Yeah, is different. But
Yeah,
like for me, I'd probably go with like $100
yeah,
personally.
$100. Yeah,
Yeah. So I would go, hey, you guys got this game for $5. It goes for a lot more online. So I would say that. I wouldn't say, hey, it goes for 180 online, unless they asked me, because I would just say it goes for a lot more online. I'd like to give you $50 for it. That's still not what it's worth online, but you would also have to, deal with eBay, or I would try to explain to them like,
well, you're sounding
there's
like a reseller, bro.
there's a lot of effort that goes into it. So I'd say it's worth a lot more money online, but to me, I would be willing to give you $50 for it, and then I would let them decide. And if they decided they wanted to sell it online, that's fine because it wasn't something that I was going to. I didn't expect to find it that day, so it
Okay.
was pleasant. It was pleasant to see it, but because I'm not trying to make money off of it, I wouldn't. I wouldn't try to press the issue or
So,
anything.
so let me add on, I guess, to the situation here. So I had probably like a dozen experiences with this similar thing that happened.
Hmm.
So somebody brings out something, let's say it's a $400 bin of games, and they're like, "I will give you buy it off me for $40, right?" And
Okay.
then you're like, $40, that's a steal, right? But it's like, okay, you have a lot more in here than $40. let me give you $150. And then they go, $150 for a bin of junk? What?
Right.
Actually, hold on. There might be something to this. And then they go, you know what? I'm just going to hang on to them, and I don't want to sell them anymore. So
Yeah.
situations like that, where you're trying to stick your neck out and be nice and give extra money, uh, those situations can burn you, especially when there is so much competition out there with garage selling and resellers and collectors, and every single person that goes to a garage sale, they are looking for a similar or the exact same thing you're looking for. So they'll swoop
Yeah.
up and they'll suck it up. So you really don't have a lot of time to decide. You're making split second decisions.
Hmm.
And something like that, let's say something like that happens. I know a lot of resellers would not want that to happen, or even collectors in
Right.
general. Let's say somebody like you, if somebody brought out a bin of $500 worth of wrestlers, right? Vintage wrestlers, and
Like
you're like,
figures.
yeah, your eyes bulge out of your head. You're like, this is not only something that could be resold, but I want to keep this stuff for my own personal collection, right? So you're like, okay, how much do you want? And they're like, $100, and you're like, I'm so happy right now. I'll give you $200. And then they go, whoa, $200? That's double what I'm asking. Uh,
Right.
you know what? I'm just gonna hang on to these. I don't want to sell them anymore. So, how would you feel in that situation, or what is your opinion on that situation?
Well, doing the right thing doesn't always mean that it's going to work out the best for you. So, like when you approach a situation where you want to give them more money for something because you know what it's worth and they don't, um, you got to expect, or you have to understand that the possibility could be that it doesn't work out for you. I know that I've seen before another reseller, I think it was Mort's Garage,
Okay.
where he bought something knowing that it was like way underpriced. And then he put it in his car and came back and was like, "Hey, I'd like to give you a little extra because it turns out that thing's worth a little more than I thought it was." Keith, the Picket Preacher, has done that before as well.
Yeah.
Um, so, I mean, there's a couple of different ways around that, but I understand like when you're a reseller, it's different because you cannot afford to lose that opportunity. But I'd say just like don't film it and put it on the internet. Maybe just go back to the house and be like, hey, got all this stuff for this amount of money, and or not even tell people what you got it for. Just tell them how much it's worth. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to be fully transparent. I think the people that watch those types of videos, they know that you didn't pay full market value for it. So that you can, but at this point, because they watch those types of videos all the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I just think that sometimes people lowball so bad and then they post it on the internet, and then just seeing other people like praise them for doing that kind of stuff, it just really,
Yeah.
really pisses me off
I,
because
see, I can see there's a lot of aspects to it that there's a lot of people that get upset, and I understand exactly why they get upset. First and foremost, that if you're paying $20 for like $1,000 worth of stuff, that is where you're kind of, oh, how did this dude even get into this situation in the first place? Like this
yeah.
dude is only paying the person only wants $20, and that guy's going to pay $20 because that's what they're asking. How did this person even get to this situation in the first place? And then it's like
Mhm.
there's a few things that cross your mind. There's jealousy. There's this dude's a scumbag. I really wish I would come across some of this stuff like this, or it's like, how did he even get in this situation? I want to learn how he did it because I'm sure there's people around my area that has this stuff too, and I want it for my collection, or I want to start like a small reselling business or something like that. Um, that's that's kind of like the gist of it, you know. I don't know how you feel about it, but
Well, I mean, I'd say always pay it forward. I mean, if you can't give somebody what you think they deserve, or you're afraid that they're going to take it away from you and you refuse for that possibility, then I mean, you could just buy it for what they say and then sell it cheaper to the next guy. I mean, that's another thing. You could have it undercut a little bit. Hell, it would sell faster probably too if you were like the cheapest one. But there's all kinds of things that you could do. Um, I don't know, man. I just think that for me personally, I try not to rip people off in any kind of sense because I don't want that kind of like karma or whatever on my conscience and stuff.
That kind of directs me to the next question that I had specifically for you. So I know that you being in my Discord that we do talk a lot with every. You're in a Discord with like a ton of resellers, and
Yep.
usually it's all cordial. Like we're not like mean or anything, but I wanted to ask you, or I wanted to brush up on something that we talked about maybe like a month or two ago,
Hmm.
and it's not super like important or any like. It's not strong like the substance of the question, but I do recall you mentioning something along the lines of you would buy something and then you would see it, the price, the market price of it, what it's selling for on eBay consistently. So somebody, let's say um, Mario Kart Wii, for example, let's say you bought it from DK Oldies for $20, and
Hmm.
you see it consistently selling for $40 on eBay. I think you mentioned that you don't really want to make money on the game. You just want to get your money back. So you would sell it for $25. That would cover your
The
shipping,
fees and
your fees. So uh, and it would sell instantaneously because that is not what it's supposed to be
right.
selling for on the platform, and that's not
Yeah.
what people are agreeing on. Like the free market, they're not agreeing on here. This is Mario Kart Wii, and this is $40. That's what they're agreeing on. That's how much it's worth.
Yeah.
So I want to kind of divulge more into that and your explanation on that and your feeling on that because I am a man of common sense. I love common sense. It needs to make perfect sense and it needs to add up analytically for me and even
Yeah.
practically. Um, I would not sell something for less than it's worth, especially let's say it's in mint condition for 20 or $25 when I know it's worth 40 and I know somebody's going to buy it for 40 within the next hour or so. Uh, how do you can you like divulge more on like that topic of trying to just get your money back rather than being a part of the actual market?
Yeah. So I'm not a reseller as far as like an occupational kind of reseller is. Um, but I have sold my own personal things before. To me, I typically try to sell it to like friends or somebody I know in real life first to kind of avoid the eBay
Yeah,
fees and everything. I do have 100% feedback on there from selling, but even if the game was worth $40 and I listed it for like I don't know 38.99 with free shipping, chances are I'm gonna accept the first offer I get, which is probably like 30 or $32. Because if I'm selling something, it means I fucked up and didn't uh budget my money for that week.
yeah.
And so like I'm probably like starving or something. You know what I mean? Like in that.
Okay, yeah, yeah, I got
Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, I'll take $30. Let's go right now. And I'll have it
you.
out
Okay,
the
yeah.
door.
That
Yeah.
yeah, that would make sense that you're just trying to sell it to get your money back, just so you can have
Yeah.
like liquid money to use for bills or
Right,
whatever.
yeah, because you don't wanna, get into, like, your savings or anything like
I
that,
got
so but I don't really do that anymore because now I work so freaking much that I just don't have to be in those types of
yeah,
situations. Um, but yeah, if I was gonna, like, sell to, like, a friend or something, that would be the first option because I would want it to go to somebody, and I would sell it to them for, like, $25 because they're my
right.
homie. But if I was desperate for money and I was selling something on eBay, then I would probably list it for a couple dollars less and have offers set to like where the minimum that I'll accept is like, I don't know, like 25. And then people will start sending them in and then I'll just kind of pick which one. Cause I think the last few things I sold, I accepted the offers on them.
See, that's the thing for me. Like, where is the line that you draw for like money back ratio to dipping into what the market value is? Because that's
Mhm.
like I said, I am a person of common sense, so I would just look it up and then I would say this is what it's worth. So I'm going to post it for what it's worth. Or if it's
Mhm.
in even if it's in mint condition, maybe a couple bucks more because that's what people look for and that's what drives the market is the interest in the item that is at stake or that's being sold. So that's the kind of the question I want because I wanted to ask you that because
Yeah.
it doesn't add up in my brain.
Right.
Even if I wasn't a reseller and I was trying to sell like a lawnmower or something, and I'm like, I need this out of my garage, but I don't want to lose money on it. I need to see what the
Yeah.
market value is, so I want to sell it for the market value.
Yeah,
So
that's just not me, man. It's just not me.
yeah, I respect that then.
Yeah. I understand why people do it, and I know that a lot of resellers will list it for 40 and accept offers too, where they sell it for a little less. But unfortunately, like when it comes to checking recent solds, it doesn't tell you what the offer was. It just has the slice through what the price was, best offer accepted, or whatever. Um, but speaking of eBay, I do have to bring this up. I didn't mention this to you, but it's not really going to make you upset or anything. So I have bought a couple of things from you before. I actually think I bought some wrestling boxes for 64 from that estate sale, and
Through
those were fine.
Discord, I think, right?
Yeah, and I got Metal Gear from you, which
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like perfect condition. Now there's a guy named James from my Discord that also like secretly bought another copy of Metal Gear from you on eBay,
gotcha.
and it was really scratched up when he got it. In the end of the story, though, you refunded him and took care of him and everything. Um, but the reason that I brought that up is because the condition said very good, Kreesky.
Gotcha, yeah.
And it looked like I saw pictures and videos of it, and it looked pretty
I do remember that actual situation as well. So there was a lot of games that I bought, and as you know, sometimes the lots of these games that come are in all various different conditions. And I do remember that Metal Gear Solid. I do remember it working because I do test almost every single game that I post up, unless it's like flawless on the bottom.
yeah,
And I do remember that transaction, and he brought it to my attention like, hey, dude, like you said, this was very good, which I have a bad habit sometimes of going through eBay defaults. So eBay will default the condition of whatever. I've gotten burned before for saying something was excellent because my opinion of it was excellent. And the guy who got it was like, this isn't excellent. Like, excellence 100%, not
yeah,
one nick, not one scratch. So I've gotten burned for that before. So that is just another situation where I burn myself for, you can call it being lazy, not double checking actual conditions of stuff to compare it to what eBay has as their default.
hmm
But I do remember refunding that guy and saying, please keep the game. And if you can get it working, just like put it through a buffer and it should work flawlessly for you again. Because
yeah,
it was working for me when I had sent it out. But PlayStation 1 games, yes, they are really finicky. So it definitely was probably my issue and it was my fault. So that's why I took 100% responsibility for that. And I let him keep the game
yeah.
to get it clean so you can keep it still. It cost maybe $4 to get it cleaned, and he can keep it still. And then I refunded all of his money and shipping and stuff like that.
Yeah, you took care of him, man. Which is a lot more than I could say about a few other resellers that I've talked about in the past. But yeah, I had to bring it up because I knew if I
Hey,
did a
bro,
video with you, if I
you're
did a video with you and I didn't bring it up, that would be one of the things I'd be getting messages in Discord is like, dude, you had him in the crosshairs. Why didn't you bring it up? But no, I mean, it wasn't even that kind of like confrontation or anything. But yeah, I
I
thought you handled that the proper way. And, you understand that. I get it, man. Cause like when I worked for a game store, I did the eBay stuff for a little while, and that may even be why like my reseller um like interest like in criticizing resellers came about was because I was kind of doing reseller work for somebody else. um but yeah, you when you're listing like 50 things in one day, you get towards the end, you're like, I'm ready to get this done. You know that saying, never buy a car made on a Friday, try to get one that was made on a Monday, because you're just like you're trying to get through it. But
I got you. Yeah, I've been
yeah,
on the other end of that as well. So I know exactly. I would want to have the person treat me how I would want to be treated if I bought something from them. Because
absolutely.
I buy a lot of stuff off eBay. I've spent thousands of dollars on uh, more than $1,000. I bought Earthbound. I bought and when Earthbound comes in, that's like a big moment because that thing's like a
Yeah.
couple $1,000. So you're
You're
like,
like, I gotta unscrew this and make sure
yeah. So it's
that
like
it's real.
you're taking like you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's when this stuff comes in because you only have like a certain amount of time to get a refund. But I've bought in a bunch of like complete box N64 stuff, and I would expect it to come how it is in the pictures. So if there's like creases that weren't, uh, nobody told me about these creases or like bends, or if it's missing a flat, it's like, yeah, I'm upset now. So what are we gonna do about this? Like you didn't disclose this. So yeah, I've been on the other end and it sucks. And
Yeah.
I've dealt with also like a lot of buyers as well on eBay where they'll get something and then we'll do like a switcheroo and then you can't prove that they did a switcheroo. So
Right.
that's just the one downside of selling on eBay, and their customer service is they're pretty bad. But I had one last question for you. It's kind of and a lot like I guess open ended or a lot of a question to give you.
Okay.
So do you think that resellers are the sole driving factor of pumping the price of what things are selling for in the market? Do you think it is solely the resellers who are taking advantage of the price that the market has already agreed on and just finding it in the wild to sell it at that price? Or do you think there's a bunch of underlying factors? Do you think that resellers are the sole factor, or is there a completely different factor that is driving the price of vintage video games specifically? Let's say vintage video games.
Yeah, so it's not really like a yes or no kind of answer.
It's a,
I've talked about it a lot more in the recent videos. I try to like clarify. Um, so like resellers are the ones that set the prices as far as like they input it into eBay, like that's what they want to sell for on their listing.
yeah, yeah,
But a lot of them do take offers or they make offers. Um, it's buyers and sellers. It's both. Because I know a lot of resellers like to say no, it's the buyers that are
yeah,
the problem, but it's actually both because I've seen videos where the guy's like, I got the Xenosaga series. I'm the only seller in America right now, so I'm charging $100 more than what it normally goes for.
yeah. It's fine with
Um,
me. Yeah,
right, but then like you have the other side of it where you've got Rich Terry from Connecticut that will literally die if he doesn't get Chrono Trigger. So he will pay whatever he has to for it. But then you have Steve, or like you have Steve from when like he was working a minimum wage job 15, 16 years ago, and he can only pay $100 for Chrono Trigger, you know. So you have a lot of like rich people that don't care about how much it costs, that are like they're buying these things because they don't give a fuck, which they shouldn't because they don't think about other people probably, or maybe they do, but not necessarily in this sense.
yeah,
Um, so like when you have rich people that get in like bidding wars and stuff, they can drive the price up just because they don't want to lose. You know what I mean? They'll be like, yeah, I'll pay $20 over what it's worth just because I really want it and I don't want to be outbid because I want to win, you know? Um, so it's both. I mean, it's like buyers sometimes, sellers sometimes. But I will say now that Phoenix Resale, because of the thing that he's doing, he is having a pretty serious effect on the eBay market because he's recruiting resellers to sell directly to him.
is it
And
because it's
most
large, such a large scale now that he is
yeah,
expanding to?
and most resellers would do that because they're like, well, damn, that's just easy. And then, that's how Caleb promotes it. He says it's reselling on easy mode. But what that's
Yeah,
done is we're seeing 50 to 100 copies of each game being sent to him that could have been on eBay. So now the ones that are left on eBay are so scarce that does drive the prices up.
that's how monopolies are started, right? So if
Yep.
you're getting, if you have 1,500 copies or 25,000 copies, you're kind of making the price, right? So
Mhm.
going back to RuneScape, I remember when that game first came out, somebody got 99 smithing, and they were the only ones in this game that could make rune plate bodies. So
Yeah.
they were selling these rune plate bodies for astronomical amounts just because they had the advantage. That's considered a monopoly, right? So
Right.
if you come to such a large, if you become such a large entity, I think Phoenix Resale is big, but I'm kind of divulging more on like DK Oldies or GameStop and stores like that. I do think that they might have a little bit bigger of a percent in stake to driving those prices just because they have so many copies and they're pumping them through their corporation or their business.
Well,
But
there just to jump in real quick to clarify for DK Oldies and GameStop, DK Oldies is overpriced out the asshole. But they do offer some benefits if you're willing to pay the extra for those benefits, like free shipping over $10, 1 year warranties on everything, which I think is very, very good for free, like, just with your purchase. GameStop, I've been having a really good time buying from them. They have a lot of good deals they put on, especially if you're a pro member. So they do offer perks and stuff but they're able to because they have such a huge chunk of the scene. But GameStop has started to up their retro gaming prices. I saw Kirby's Epic Yarn in there yesterday and Paper Mario. They were like 27 a piece, and I
it,
think price
yeah,
chart's like 15 on those for the
so
Wii.
so GameStop, I have a lot of people in my Discord that buy from GameStop, right?
Yeah.
They buy in bulk. They have perks that specifically get them like buy two games get a third free.
Hmm.
So you necessarily would be making money off GameStop, and GameStop's prices could look good to you, right?
Right.
But you got to remember, GameStop pays you like 30%, if not less, for what
Mhm.
your stuff is worth. So they're already doubling their money, selling
Yeah.
it for close to what market value is, whether it's a little bit over what price charting is saying or a little bit under.
Mhm.
They are still one of the entities that is they're a business. They need to make money. They need
Yeah.
to pay their employees. They have to keep their doors open and stuff like that.
Now they
But
do offer trade incentives where they do offer extra sometimes, not
yeah,
on everything.
like
I definitely would not sell or trade to GameStop. But I will say in their defense, at least they offer these games at a local level, as opposed to taking them from a local level and putting them online where you have to buy, from eBay or something like that. So I mean, there's some good and some bad. GameStop is always a controversial subject. I definitely like GameStop, but like if we were like going to have a civil war, I wouldn't necessarily fight for GameStop, but
I,
you
yeah,
know what I
I
mean?
do think that GameStop is the biggest name when I guess boomers or anybody over the age of 18, when they think of video games, they think of GameStop, right? So I feel like that is the first place that somebody who doesn't want their video games anymore would take it.
Mhm.
So I feel like they're taking at a local level, and then they will disperse it throughout wherever they sell to throughout the country because they do have an
Mhm.
online site. So I think
Yeah.
all the retro stuff is not sold in stores anymore. It's all sold. It's all sent to the warehouse. Is that correct? I think so. I haven't been to a GameStop
No,
in like 10 years.
yeah, they have retro stuff in the stores. It's not like overly abundant.
Gotcha.
Like I'll give you an example. At the store I went to yesterday, it's kind of like a smaller GameStop, but they had just like this little end cap kind of like bargain bin kind of thing, and there was maybe like 100 games in it.
Yeah.
Bunch of 3DS games, PS3, Wii, 360. I ended up getting one. I got Little Big Planet 2 for the PS3 for like 4.99.
It's a good game.
It is, and they're doing a 4 for 10 right now for games that are 5 and under, but unfortunately that was the only $5 or less game that I needed.
Yeah.
But I did do the 4 for 40, which is like 20 and under. Um, but yeah, I mean, and just to touch on what you said, they will receive retro trades, and they won't necessarily keep it in that store because they do have like a distribution thing that
Yeah.
they do. And I know this because I used to work at GameStop back in like '08, '09, that era. And like it's supposed to be designed where like it's supposed to be that way so that you don't end up with like 20 copies of this game at this one store. And what they'll do is they'll say, take 5 of these out of the system or 10 of these out of your system and then send them off. And then they go to the distro center and they're supposed to disperse them to stores that don't have it so that they can have it. But yeah, I just wanted to clarify that. Um, but yeah, I mean, GameStop, it's good and bad. I spend a lot of money there, but I also get a lot of good deals, and discounts. I buy a lot. I've been buying TCG again, so that's kind of like the spot where no one really buys Pokemon cards in my area. So anytime I want something, I can pretty much get it there.
I used to go to Super Kmart for all of my my Pokemon needs.
I
Uh,
miss Kmart, man.
I was like 2005, 2006. I remember I would cut the grass, and my dad would buy me a blister pack. So you get it was Diamond and Pearl. So I'm a fourth gen kid. If anybody can relate with that, but Diamond and Pearl era kid. And it'd be like 2 Diamond and Pearl packs, and then an EX series pack in this blister, and they were like $11.99. I just saw
Yeah.
somebody trying to sell one in my area, unopened. The same thing I would get for cutting the grass. It was like well over $1,000 for these
Yeah.
unopened blister.
Yeah, it kind of pisses me off all the time, but it's my own fault. Like I remember I don't think about this when I make fun of resellers or anything, but I remember having this like really decent collection back in the day of the base set jungle gym heroes, like the Wizards of the Coast sets.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because like when they switched over, when they got rid of Wizards making the cards, I got out of it for a while. I had moved on to Yu-Gi-Oh and
yeah.
Harry and Magic, and Harry Potter had a brief card game that I loved, but it didn't catch on. But yeah, I sold my whole collection at a yard sale for like $5.
Oh man,
And we're talking like I had like the base set Zapdos Hollow, I had like the Gyarados, I had a base set 2 Charizard. So, and I had a lot of those promo cards too. Like I had the birthday Pikachu card, and then when you see how much those cards go for now, it just makes you want to cry.
you probably wake up every day and you feel a small little piece inside of you just hurting because I have speak from experience as well. I sold my entire card collection once I hit high school because Pokemon becomes lame when you get older, right? But
There's something else that you think about
yeah,
whenever you get to high school.
you can't be caught with you can't be caught with Pokemon cards or you're not cool anymore.
And be
So
like, what's that on your belt loop? A Pokeball?
yeah, right. Pokewalker. Yeah. I sold my entire collection, which is probably worth well over $5,000. All Diamond and Pearl era and Wizard of the Coast and EX, like all those cards, really good cards. I sold it for $100 so I could buy a drum set. So I started playing drums,
Damn.
and it hurts me still to this day. So when
I
I
play a little
go,
drums too, man.
yeah, you have a kit,
No, I don't, but I know how to play drums. I'm a guitarist first,
yeah,
but I'm left-handed, but I always played
okay,
with a right-handed orientation.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so people would see me drum, and instead of doing like the cross for the hi-hats, I would just do this.
Well, that's jazz. That's how jazz players play. So
Yeah,
that's
but they
actually
would always
you gotta let them know that that's technique. They don't know what they're talking about.
they would tell me, they'd be like, "You're doing that wrong," and I'm like, "What do you fucking mean? It sounds the same." Like,
Yeah, right. Yeah, it doesn't matter as long as it sounds good. So
yeah, that's like telling the drummer from Def Leppard that he drums wrong because he only has one leg or
yeah,
something, or one arm.
he's got one arm. He uses like
Yeah,
pedals to hit his drums. So he's got like a pedal mechanism set up. But he's
yeah,
a
he's
good
just
drummer. He's got one
he
arm.
is
He's a great drummer. So it doesn't matter.
determination, man.
Yeah, it does not matter. You gotta pick your style, and you have to go forward with it, and then it becomes a part of you, and then that's how you become a legend, right? So all these
Yeah,
legendary people, they have their own style.
but yeah, with Pokemon, man, we had no idea that it was gonna
No,
last
absolutely not.
forever.
Yeah, because I remember when I was a kid, like I said, I had six siblings. When it came time to, it was a big fiasco to do a room clean. So we would have to clean our rooms once a
Yeah.
month. We were little piggies. Like we would literally throw everything on the ground. There's chip bags, Dorito bags. There was all the 90s snacks you can remember. There was like Yogos, Grips. If anybody
Oh man.
remembers all that old food that we would
Dunkaroos.
Dunkaroos, all of the little snacks would just throw them on the ground, and like all of our toys, all on the ground. Transformers, hand me down Power Rangers, all this stuff. I remember vividly my mom would come in with the broom and she would sweep everything into a pile and put it in a garbage bag and then throw it out. And then we would end up getting new toys. Uh,
Damn.
that's how our cleanups were. So that's why we don't have a lot of our childhood stuff because
Hmm.
a lot of the stuff would just get, mind you, some of it was probably overused and maybe even broken. So like a lot of
Yeah.
the stuff got thrown out. So looking back at that stuff, it's looking at the value of it now, it hurts. But that's why adults, going back to that topic, drive the market up because they got older, they have money, and now they want their Mad Ball, and a Mad Ball is like $200 or $100 or something like that,
For
and
sure. Yeah.
that's what they want to put on their shelf. That's what they want to play with.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. So I mean, ultimately, that question is it's everybody's fault.
I think it's actually, so I was thinking about this as well. So I thought to myself, what is the reason that Pikmin 1 for the GameCube is so dang expensive, right? It's like it used to be like $70 at one point.
I
And
remember talking shit about Pikmin in a video I did on you.
yeah, so the Pikmin is like $70 or $60 or something like that. And if you think about it, is it, why do people want Pikmin? It's, is it because Nintendo released Pikmin 3 and everybody's like, I gotta get the old Pikmin? Is it because GameCube games and GameCube in general never sold well, so there's not a whole lot of copies on the market, which is making them scarce? So the price
Mhm.
can be there. The price can be justified for the amount of copies that are out there. Uh, there's like a lot of factors to what is driving all these like vintage prices up.
I
It's
think
interesting.
I think that a lot of it has to do with YouTube content creators too, not even resellers at that point, but people like Metal Jesus, Mr. Right Way. They're trying to tell you about cool stuff. They're like, man, the 360 is about to go up in price. So you should go out and buy these games. And here's some that you should buy. Um, they don't really think about the fact that what they're doing is they're scaring the shit out of people that they have to go out and buy this stuff. So it causes a boom in a certain item. And it's been that way in everything, even at a retail setting, you know, or like a prime example of it would be, I remember this has happened a couple times in my city where a rumor will start that there's a gasoline shortage. So what does everybody do? They go and they buy way too much gas when they don't need to. And then now there is a shortage. So I mean, I think that kind of thing happens with games all the time.
Yeah,
And I
there's
think
a
a lot of YouTubers cause it or they definitely like aid in it.
those people should be put in prison. So there's a reason you can't do that on the stock market, that insider trading and dumping a bunch of worthless stock. There's a reason it's illegal to do that federally. So
Hmm.
that is, and it should be illegal to do that in crypto too. So people who make crypto coins and meme coins, they will, it's called a rug pull, and they will pull the entirety of the coin because they have the big majority of the coins in their wallets. So they'll
Yeah.
just sell it once it starts to go up in value. They'll make hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the
Yeah.
people who put money into it, they lose all their money. So that stuff should be illegal, especially YouTubers who are, I there's a lot of people in my Discord that I don't remember the exact names of these YouTubers, but they are literally trying to tell people, they're setting the price for items that are not worth the price at all. So it's not like a YouTuber putting an eBay sold listing. It's like this guy saying this is so niche, and he has like 500,000 subscribers. This is so niche, and you guys need to buy this from me. I'm gonna start my like bidding at like $500, and this shirt
Yeah.
is like $100 shirt,
You
and they,
see it. You see this on Whatnot a lot too.
I cannot stand Whatnot. They reached out to
Me
me for a
neither.
sponsorship, and I said no, absolutely not, because what I saw on Whatnot made me like nauseated, and it was
Mhm.
a specific person that we already know who it is.
Mhm.
He literally was selling stuff like he was selling like a $60 game for like $140, and I think it
Yeah.
was because his fan base wanted to be a part of the stream and get something from this specific content creator. And
Yeah.
I thought it was it a man of common sense. It baffled me to all ends because it was just like infuriating and disgusting, and it was insane.
I'm definitely in agreement with you on that. I've seen that with several YouTubers. And it also has to do with the bidding thing. Like, you want to buy from your favorite YouTuber and you also don't want to lose. So you'll pay whatever the fuck it ends up being, which sucks. So, like, I used to say that I liked a few people on Whatnot, but now I don't use Whatnot at all because I don't want to associate with it, even if it was good in certain
And I
situations.
think Whatnot is only lucrative if you have a humongous following or you're like a famous person auctioning
Hmm.
off stuff from your house. Like
Yeah.
if you're a famous actor and you could sell a napkin on Whatnot for like 10 grand, right? Just some
Yeah.
stupid crap. So if it is like a reseller on YouTube and you saw something in their video that you really wanted, and there's like hundreds of fanboys who are like, I need to get a specific item from this guy because I love him. I love his content. Been subscribed for so long. And then you end up paying like 2.5 times the amount of the value of the actual item.
Yeah.
I don't know why people do that. I have no idea why somebody in their right mind would be like, this is a good thing to do. I'm gonna pay quadruple the price for something. It doesn't make sense to me.
No, definitely not. Would you ever do an app like Phoenix Resale?
Um, So the only reason he did an app, from what I think and recall, I've never used the app or anything like that. But all of the feedback that he received on it, it seems like it's specifically an app to sell to him, or the app is the prices of what he buys stuff at. Is
Mhm.
if I might be mistaken, but I think that specific app is just the driving factor in him being more successful in his business. It's
Mhm.
not an app like an it might be an open source app for like finding prices of stuff, but we have price charting for that. So I
So let
don't
me give
know.
you a little rundown of it real quick so
Yeah,
you can answer the question better. Um, it's called One Up.
yeah.
It has a free tier which allows you to track your collection or check prices on multiple sites.
Okay.
Um, so that part's free. But like you said, we've got price charting, we've got Game Eye, we can look up eBay recent solds on the eBay app. Um, and when I asked him about it, I asked him if there was any benefit other than selling to him using that app, and he said no. Like he said that in the video.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, the paid side of it is you pay $25 a month, and then you're allowed to sell him stuff, and you can create an invoice for him in the quick flip section, which is like that's the whole point of his whole app is basically to use that feature for people that want to sell to him, and it just like streamlines his whole situation and helps
So
him funnel it.
is he getting away from being an open source distributor where anybody could sell to him? Do you have to pay a monthly fee to be able to sell to him now? Is that what he's leaning towards, or is
Yes, that's his ultimate goal. It's in beta still, but I mean that is the ultimate goal. You can earn free months if you hit a certain dollar amount. I believe 2,500. You get 3 months free.
how much is it a
So
month?
$25.
Yeah, I'm not with that. I don't care for that.
Yeah,
I think expect it's
that's
it,
like saying pay me to sell to me.
well, looking at it from like an outsider's perspective and like a business management perspective. It doesn't make sense to me to do that. He is big, not he's big. He's a big YouTuber. He has a big following, and a lot of people do trade to him and sell to him. But it's not a good business venture to make somebody, if this information is correct, because I'm ignorant to it. I have no idea. But from what you told me, It does not make sense to me at all to have to pay a subscription to be eligible to sell to him
Hmm.
at eBay prices or whatever. If he might bump up the value or whatever, or the amount that he'll give you, but that's a bad business venture because you would want these 1,000 people to trade to you whenever they come across stuff compared
Yeah.
to 50 loyal people who will sell to you at whatever rate that they find stuff. But it's just the majority of the people you'd want to be selling to you because you get more inventory and you would ultimately build your business, right? So that
Yeah.
that doesn't make any sense to me. And
So
to
on
answer, no,
that
no,
particular thing, sorry, on
no,
that particular thing though, he has touched on that in a video where he would prefer to do business with larger scale. Like he wants like larger scale reselling to go through him like that. Which
okay.
I just
Oh yeah, like game stores and stuff like that.
yeah, or like, well, I mean that would be one. Yeah, like a vendor or a reseller that owns a game store. Um but yeah, I mean I'm with you. I think like if you were going to take advantage of your fans, which is kind of like what it is, you would allow everybody to do it. But the one thing he said to kind of defend why it has a fee is because he wants to keep out all of the bullshit.
Yeah, there could be checks and balances for it, but there's one reason that I don't charge for people to come into my Discord. And our Discord, you've been in it, and anybody who's a reseller that's been in it, it is an amazing Discord. I'm not trying to vouch for myself because I'm barely active in it. I have a lot of people in there who are very intelligent. They've been
Mhm.
reselling for a long time. They're collectors, bunch of different ventures inside this specific Discord, and it would if you were somebody who would look from the outside in, you'd be like, why aren't you charging people for that? You can make money. But it's like, why are you going to charge people money for information that is open source that you can find on the internet? And
Yeah,
just because I've been going to garage sales for 5 or 10 years and I know what specific golf club brand to buy, that doesn't make my opinion valuable. Like this stuff is just open source that you can find through experience, but you are just joining this Discord to gain that experience all at once because there is a bunch of talented people in there, right? Because they know a lot
absolutely.
from experience. So that just doesn't make sense to me either. Like I would never charge somebody to tell them to buy Mario Sunshine because it's a valuable game.
Cuz
It's,
like it's so obvious, but yeah, I
so
will say
there's
your
so many
Discord is great.
there's a
Your
lot
disc
of resellers that do that, and it's like $15 for a coaching session. It's like, bro,
right.
you are not coaching anything. You're gonna tell me how to wake up at 6 a.m., go to a garage sale, be the first one there, and find a baseball mitt. Yeah, that's great coaching. I wish I had my $15 back.
Right.
They're just cash. They're trying to. It's a cash grab. They're just trying to use their platform to make money, and I think that's all it is. So I never understood why people charge to be in a Discord, like a reselling Discord specifically. I have no idea.
Yeah, most of the resellers that I buy from are from your Discord.
Yeah. A lot of We have a firm standing on if you scam somebody, you are booted and banned for life. Like you're out. We actually have a section that is if when you buy something, when you sell something 3 times, you get a certified status, so
Yeah.
that people will trust you right away. And we do a lot of sales and a lot of trades. There's a
Mhm.
lot of game collectors. There's a lot of I'll trade you Pokemon cards for video games and vice versa. And there's a tons of walks of life that come through that Discord, and it's
Yeah.
almost like 1,000 people. So it's
Yeah,
free to join too.
it's pretty sweet. I check the showcase recent finds and the for seller trade pretty much every day
Yeah,
because I want to jump on anything that I see that I want. And Mike, he's one of your
yeah.
moderators.
He's the senior admin. He was one of the first dudes to mention to me. He messaged me privately and said, "Let's make a Discord. I think it would be a great venture for the community." And I said,
Mhm.
"That is an amazing idea." And he became the moderator for it. There is a ton of other moderators. I can shout out everybody in there. There's the two Huma boys. If you've ever seen those,
Yeah.
Slimsy.
He did. And then Gamer,
They,
Mr. Galaxy.
yep, there's a bunch of talented individuals in there.
He
I'm
did the
proud.
last tier list with me, man.
Yeah, I'm proud to have those people in my Discord and have them want to be a part of the community that we have made because they have so much experience, they have so much talent, they have so much passion for video games and collecting. They have so much. They're just like everybody else. They have nostalgia. They're a great bunch of dudes. I can shout out every single one of them, but it would take forever. But those are the few I can think off the top of my head. But it's a great place to hang out too, just on the weekend to talk about stuff. We don't necessarily always talk about business ventures or collecting. We talk about everything.
Yeah.
So
And I'd say the reason I like buying from Mike the most is because he has a spreadsheet. So I don't have to wait for him to post or bother him all the time. I could just check his spreadsheet. So I think anyone that's a reseller that is in those kinds of places, they should totally do that. Like log your inventory because for people like me, like one day I just hit him up. This was a while back now, but I was like, "Hey, I'm going to send you a list of stuff you have that I want." And then I like sent him like 30 games and he was like, "Holy crap." And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, it was all stuff you had listed." And he always gives me a pretty good deal on stuff, and he's not a YouTuber, so it's not like he's doing it to like stay on my soft side. He's just a good guy. And I had a couple of issues with some controllers before, and he always made it right, and he didn't need to. I offered to send the broken ones back to him, and he was like, "Nah, just if you can't fix them, just get rid of them or something, or give them away to somebody that can fix them." So yeah, I mean, I love your Discord. There's one thing that I see in there that I don't like. I can't remember exactly who it is, but a few people, as we mentioned before, they use the GameStop as a sourcing place, and I don't really like that. But
oh,
you know,
to buy from them to make money from GameStop.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But I mean, like that's really not. I mean, it's not like the worst thing I've
yeah.
ever
I
seen.
think I think I know what you're talking about. I've never did it, but there's people that have whatever their premium membership is, which gave them like buy two get one free. So
Yeah,
they were like buying all the games that were on I think Caleb's list, and they would sell to Caleb uh, the extra game or
yeah,
all three of the games maybe to make like a quick $20, $40 or something like that. But they have to pump like 2 grand of their own money to make like $200.
right, yeah.
But it's coming from GameStop, so you'll receive it, and if there's anything wrong, they'll refund you or whatever. But yeah, I did see a lot of that. I don't have any comment on that doing that. I guess I've never did it, and I wouldn't want to spend 2 grand to make $200 anyway. But
Yeah, yeah, that's a pretty big risk. But not really a risk, but yeah, I think GameStop is kind of trying to combat that as well because like I said, man, I saw those games in there yesterday. They were like 27.99 with the pro membership. So they're normally like $30, but then Price Chart has them for like $15. So I think that by making them a little bit more at GameStop, they're kind of decentivizing people. Um, but people are going to do what they do at the
I
end of
think
the day, no matter
limit.
what.
I think they limit how many you can buy. You only can buy like 5 copies or something of retro games or something like that, or maybe 3 copies. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I got one more question from a fan here, and it's a pretty easy one. It's why you so ugly? No, I'm just kidding. They didn't say that.
I get it from my parents.
It's because he's ugly because he had 6 siblings. God darn it! Who would be beautiful then? Nah. He said he wanted to know if you had seen Pokemon Emerald or Mega Man 5 like in the wild recently.
uh, no, that is very hard to come by. Those games are very hard to come by.
I was really surprised that Emerald is so much money because I
Yeah,
figured like what makes that one more special? I mean, I understand that it's like the yellow for Ruby and Sapphire.
yeah. I think it's just a trio game, so it has exclusive content. Not to mention you get Rayquaza. That's all you need, right? You just need to be
Yeah.
able to get Rayquaza, and you'll pay whatever money you need to. But Yeah, that game has skyrocketed in value. I actually came across a coworker at my job who actually has it from their childhood, and he said it's in mint condition. And I was trying to pay him market value for it just to have it in my collection, but he said no, he's going to hang on to it because they're just
Yeah.
so hard to come by. It'd be insane. I There's a few YouTube videos where I saw that I never watched them or I don't remember the names of them either, but the thumbnail, it's some dude found like a complete in box emerald, Pokemon Emerald, and it's like
Diamond Theory.
Diamond Theory. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how much he paid for it or what, but that's the kind of crap that's like, whoa, like you take a step back. Like when I found some of those like super vintage rare Super Nintendo games from that guy's storage unit, like Rex Ronin, Pocky and Rocky 2,
Mhm.
there was Evo, Search for Eden. Like seeing those in the flesh is like kind of gets me like jittery because it's like, whoa, these are like grails. These are
Right.
hard to
Yeah.
find. Like if I found like Sculptor's Cut or something like that, that's hard to find. You don't find those, so it's like, yeah,
That
your
game
eyes,
sucks, by the way.
yeah, yes, you're right. But you can,
Even the cheap version sucks.
but you could be Earthworm Jim, so that's pretty cool.
Well, yeah, I guess. But
Like,
talking about like YouTubers and like, getting those grill finds and stuff, we've talked about like being skeptical on some of them. I'm not going to name any names though
I
for
know
your
who you're
sake.
talking about. I know exactly.
Yeah, but we've thought about them being like staged or like maybe sweetened a little bit.
That would be interesting to talk about because once you become a big YouTube channel where you have employees and
Mhm.
you need to make revenue, at what point does your videos start to become skits or
Mhm.
staged or stuff
Yeah.
like that? So that's super interesting. I know that that happens on YouTube for sure. It'd be really cool to if somebody did a series on kind of debunking these people, but it'd be very hard to do.
Yeah. Like someone needs to be the CoffeeZilla of resellers. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean because like how can you like have a video every 3 days and you're just finding
yeah.
hit after hit after hit?
Let me tell you, me going out into the wild, I go out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? And I'm in the Chicagoland area, so I have a bunch of yard sales around me. There's a lot of competition. I go to maybe 20, 25 garage sales, and if I'm lucky that day, I will get content for one video, right? So,
Right.
and it takes a whole week or 2 weeks to get like a video or two out. And who said that the video is even a banger? Like it's so randomized that it is very hard to find these things that are making videos go viral. So
Yeah.
it's skeptical to see somebody get a hit every 2 days, and these hits are like insane, unheard of hits. And it's like they're coming out of the woodwork and they're posting
Mhm.
like 20 videos a month, all hits. It's like,
Yeah.
okay,
So the only way that they could refute it, cuz no one's that lucky, right?
no, no,
The only way you could refute something like that is you're using old footage and mixing it, or you do a lot of convention videos, which I've seen this particular person do recently, which kind of like there's always going to be good stuff at conventions,
those
but
aren't even hits though. Those are like you're paying like 60 or 70% market value for them. We're
Mhm.
talking about like I'm digging out this old system with 30 complete in box Super Nintendo games from my attic that all has dust on it, and it's
Yeah.
like, here you go. I don't know anything about these. Yeah, $50. Yeah, that's fine. It looks staged, and I think that these big corporations or like these big business channels that have employees and hundreds and thousands of subscribers, they have to make ends meet and they have to get content out there. And being a small YouTuber, I know how hard it is to get content out there. Even if you had an editor, you have to
Right.
source the stuff, you have to find the stuff, and you don't find that stuff every 2 days. Very, very
Absolutely, man.
skeptical on some of these videos.
Especially not nowadays,
No,
because
absolutely not. Yeah, absolutely not. With the competition in general and people having access to the internet,
yeah. So
it's
it's either got to be stockpiled footage, it's got to be staged, or it could just be well, this particular person also will make 3 or 4 videos out of the same kind of footage. Like they'll shoot like a convention video and they'll be like, this portion of the video is going to be about collecting a bunch of Pokemon games. And then they'll have another video from the same convention that they filmed
Yeah,
simultaneously
I got you.
where they're like, I'm collecting my childhood GameCube games. Like these
Yeah,
are all like recent.
that's going to make the journey of going to a different state. You're not going to get one video out of it. You're going to get 5 out of it. So you can
Right.
post that throughout the week or however you schedule your
Yeah.
video.
So it's got to be one of those answers. It's either got to be staged, stock footage, or repeating footage.
Hot take. Man, I think they're staged, bro. Because a lot of
Yeah.
videos on YouTube nowadays, especially when you start getting ad revenue and pumping up ad revenue, like these million subscriber channels, like the prank channels back in the day, you hire somebody and you pay them $100 to do an hour skit, and you
Joey
get
Salads.
yeah, right. So it's very don't believe everything you see on the internet because YouTube is
Absolutely.
notorious for being like a reality TV show, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely, man. But with that, we hit the 2 hour mark and I am out of questions. Um, Thanks so much for taking time
Yeah,
talking to me.
it's always good hanging out with you. It's always good talking to you on Discord. You're a genuine person like everybody else.
Yeah.
I have no reason not to talk to you, even if you make fun of me. It doesn't matter because I know at the end of the day, it's just content. It's just for laughs and stuff like that. So it's really cool seeing you go the direction you're going. I would like to see you do more reaction videos to more stuff that is in pop culture, whether
Mhm.
it's like police body cam footage. I know you did a video on that. I watched that; it was really good. I do think you're a good critiquer, so I do think you should venture off into stuff that more people would like to see, and you would draw more attention to your channel. Because
Yeah.
I could see you being a big reaction channel because you already have a cult following going. So yeah, I look forward to seeing your ventures even 6 months from now or a year. I think you're going to grow tremendously.
I appreciate you, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate you saying that. And I mean that does sound fun. Maybe I'll retire Moist Critical one day.
Oh, that'd be hard to do.
I wouldn't want to. I like watching his stuff. The only thing I don't like watching about him is when he tries to judge food. I'm like, dude, you are not the guy.
What
I'm the
is what
guy.
what is that? He's like in like this little like rec room space with like
Yeah.
old paint, and it's like a big warehouse, and he's like at a small table, and he's like, "All right, we're gonna try all these French fries from fast food places," and he's like in this like weird. He's like in the back rooms. He's like, "Where is this guy at?"
It's like everybody knows that McDonald's has the best fries, dude. Like, we don't need to watch this 15-minute video, but you know what? It's cool, you know. Um, he seems like a genuine dude too, and I think that's why he's so successful. I don't always agree with, or I mean, I don't always tolerate his voice that well.
Yeah, he does have a unique voice for real.
Yeah, but he's cool, man. I remember watching him like 10 years ago when he was just a dork, and now he's just a successful dork. So
He play RuneScape. I think he got his start actually playing RuneScape.
you know what? He looks like he would play RuneScape.
Oh, yeah. What does a RuneScape player look like? That's a whole
Well,
question.
they either look like me or they look like Moist Critical, like long haired, unkept. You know, I'm obviously he probably takes care of himself, but you know what I'm saying. Like,
I
I
got it.
mean, yeah. But anyways, I'm yapping at this point. Everybody check out Kreesky's channel, man. He's not too bad of a scumbag reseller. He's actually a pretty cool guy. Um, and that's pretty much it. I'll put the link to his channel in the description, and we will catch you next time.